Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hi, I'm Joe Keenan of Total Retail Talks here at CRMC in Chicago. I am joined by Jonathan Clarkson, who is the Managing Director of Loyalty, Partnerships, and Products for Southwest Airlines. So thanks for joining me today, Jonathan.
Thanks for having us, Joe.
So I want to talk a little bit about Southwest Airlines loyalty program. So obviously the airline industry is a very competitive space. Can you talk a little bit about what Southwest is doing with its loyalty program to differentiate it from some of the others in the category?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's just the fundamentals of our earn and burn mechanism if you compare it to other airlines. So we're the only major program where it's revenue based for earn and burn. Okay. So what that means is we were the first airline actually to implement the ability to earn points per dollar spent, the first major one. A lot of the other guys have followed suit. But what we do differently is we're very transparent in terms of what it costs to redeem those points. Okay. To the point where when you go to southwest.com, you can actually choose to pay in dollars or points because every seat that's available to spend dollars on is also available to use your points on. And we think that in addition to our significant footprint, we fly to over 100 cities in the U.S. and beyond, and our great policies and procedures around no bag fees, no change fees, all makes for a pretty good combination and helps support the loyalty program.
So what about the program in terms of customer feedback? What do you hear from your customers, the members of the program, what they like, what they don't like? How often are you kind of taking that into account, making changes? You talk a little bit about the customer involvement in the program and kind of the direction it's
Sure.
headed?
Yeah, they like the flexibility, the transparency. They like the fact that there aren't gotchas. Mm-hmm. If you decide, for example, that you want to cancel a loyalty ticket the day before, the points simply go back into your account. We don't charge a fee to take them back out. We don't deduct any of the points that you spent. So those are all things that resonate pretty strongly. I think in terms of what they'd like for us to do better, customers always want to go to more places, so we try to grow the route map as smartly and as quickly as we can. We just launched Hawaii this year.
Oh, cool.
Which has been a real boon to the system. And people are certainly satisfied with the destinations we have now, but I think they always want to use their points to go even further and to more places.
So let's talk a little bit about the marketing of the program itself. How are you using all the different marketing touch points that you're communicating with customers and prospects to generate awareness of the program for people that are already in the program, adoption and engagement? Can you talk a little bit about how you're bringing about that marketing angle?
Sure. Yeah. So when you think about enrollment versus engagement, we focus on both. What we've been spending most of our marketing muscle on lately is really engaging customers who have joined the program. So we get quite a few people who come in and sign up for the program as they buy a ticket. Mm-hmm. But what we find the most value there is in using those marketing tools is around making sure that people come back to us. And we define engagement as somebody who's used the brand either for earn or burn over the last 12 months. So we'll build campaigns and digital efforts that are really targeted at getting people once we know they're in the program, we have information about them, we can start communicating to them in Rapid Rewards voice and develop promotions and platforms that are going to be compelling for them to use us.
For the marketing, is it personalized to the individual member? So for example, the business travel that's on the road maybe 2-3 times a month versus, the leisure travel that may be making one trip a year or 2 trips a year. Are they kind of treated the same in terms of how they're being communicated with?
Not exactly the same. So we try to apply what we call contextual relevance, depending on the customer we're talking to and the occasion that they're using us on. So if it's somebody who's pretty clearly going on a business trip, based on what that looks like relative, if it's a trip that they take a lot and they're going in the middle of the week, we might serve them up a car rental ad or a hotel ad to try to get them to append that to their trip, where we wouldn't necessarily do that with a leisure traveler because it's obviously not necessarily going to be something that they're going to be doing that trip.
So that kind of leads into my next question around the data that you're collecting about your customers and how you're kind of, using that. But one, try to get a better understanding of your customers. So maybe talk a little bit about the data that you're collecting. And the second part of that is, okay, now that you've collected it, how do you put that data into action?
Yeah. So we focus on customer segmentation pretty heavily. So just by the natural process of buying a ticket is a data-rich exchange anyway. So, and we're like a lot of people. We're all collecting a lot of the same data. What we're trying to do differently is be smart with how we use it and use the data that we have to inform how we continue to talk to those folks. So going back to the engagement effort, if there are things that we learn about our customers that are going to help us engage them down the road, then we'll apply that. But we don't use a one-size-fits-all communication strategy. We try to talk to different people and different voices depending on what we think it is they want to hear about.
And what are the different channels you're using to communicate with your customers? Is it email? Is it social, on-site? Any other things that you're, kind of, when you want to communicate with your customers, are those the kind of primary channels you're looking at?
We use each of those. I think where we're different is our distribution strategy. So unlike other airlines, we don't sell tickets through OTAs or Expedia or those type of places. Everything comes through Southwest.com. So there's a single distribution channel, but it also creates a really powerful pull to the site. If you want to learn about how many points you have in your account or what kind of deals we have going on or where we fly, you have to come to Southwest.com in order to buy the ticket, in order to learn all that stuff. So that makes .com, both in mobile and desktop, a really powerful digital asset which we can use for marketing purposes once people get there. And then we can customize messages for them when they're in their account, or even when they come to the website. Based on what we know about them, you might see a different homepage ad than I would based on whether you have the co-brand credit card or whether I do.
Yeah.
So the site itself is a powerful one, but then yes, email, social, we use those for marketing tools as well as ways to listen to our customers. Social in particular makes for a great sort of feedback loop to understand where customers' heads are and what are the things that we need to address most readily.
You mentioned desktop, but also mobile too. I'm curious about the same functionality exists. Do you see the same types of behaviors with the program in each channel, maybe, or is there some divergence between the behaviors in each?
Yeah, I think we see some differences for sure. I think mobile continues to evolve as a channel. It's certainly growing for us. It's a convenient channel. The way that our check-in process works, you check in 24 hours in advance of your flight. So most people are not sitting at a computer exactly 24 hours in advance of their flight, but they do have their phone with them. So they're able to open the app and hit check-in, and that drives a lot of traffic to the site, as you might imagine. But it's also emerging as a booking tool and as a competitive shopping tool, and we're trying to build more and more ancillary products like cars and hotels and vacations that we can sell through mobile as well to help enhance that experience for our customers and give them everything that they're looking for.
Looking at kind of the overarching goals for the Rapid Rewards program, could you talk about some of when you look at the business goals, what would those be for your Rapid Rewards loyalty program?
I think we have a few. So we certainly want to grow the size of the program. We want to have a higher percentage of engaged members. But I think the thing that we look at, we rely on the program heavily as a revenue generator for Southwest. Through our partnerships with our co-brand card, with other partners or earn partners that we have in the program, affiliated with the program, that really helps, as it does at a lot of airlines, helps with the bottom line.
And then my final question, Jonathan, is in terms of looking forward a little bit, what's in the works, and as you look to continually improve upon the loyalty program at Southwest Airlines?
Yeah, that's always a tough question because the things that we're working on, we're not always ready to talk about. But I think I would just say, we don't plan to stand pat. We know that this is a rapidly evolving system in terms of loyalty programs competitively, not just within airlines, but beyond. So we continue to learn from the other things that are going on out in the space, and we understand. You asked earlier a question, what do people like? What would they like to see us do better? We listen to all that, and we certainly take that into account. We're always looking at making enhancements. So nothing major to announce today, but again, it's something that we're always keeping an eye on and making sure that we continue to evolve the program to make sure that it meets our customers' expectations.
And technology investments, obviously, is that part of it? Kind of looking at where you're at and continually monitoring.
For sure, yeah. For sure. I mean, I think we're looking at things that a lot of people are looking at, like improving conversion rate, enhancing the mobile experience, making it easier to sign up for the program. In addition to some of the things we talked about earlier, which are that people look for, which are more destinations and that type of thing.
Great. Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank Jonathan Clarkson of Southwest Airlines for joining me today at CRMC. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Please check out our podcast channel page, mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn. But make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. Also, please take the time to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and I look forward to you joining us on the next episode of Total Retail Talks.